Today, we're going to talk about a financial shockwave that has absolutely rattled the global economy. And it all starts with a number that's, well, it's almost too big to even imagine.
$7 trillion. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's an incredible, almost unbelievable amount of money. And just like that, poof, it vanished. Wiped off the books of global markets in just a handful of weeks. And this wasn't because of a banking crash or another pandemic. It was something else entirely.
So that's the big question we're tackling in this explainer. How on earth can that much value just disappear, and so fast? Well, the answer starts in a place that probably feels a million miles away. It all kicks off with a spark, some rising tensions in a really critical part of the world. And this is where a lot of us get it wrong right from the start. There's this massive gap between what we think and what's real. It's so easy to see a conflict on the news and think, well, that's way over there. It's not going to touch my life. But the reality, in our hyper-connected world, that distance means absolutely nothing anymore.
See, the second things get tense anywhere in the world, the very first casualty is always certainty. Global trade routes get shaky, supply chains get nervous, and that fear, it spreads through the world's markets like instantly.
So how do we get from a bit of fear to a $7 trillion hole in the economy? Well, it happens through a chain reaction, and the very first, most critical link in that chain is oil. It's so important to remember that oil isn't just about gas for your car. I mean, it is the lifeblood of pretty much every single industry on the planet, from shipping goods to manufacturing to growing our food. So when its flow is threatened, the entire global machine feels the squeeze.
And here's exactly how that cascade works. First, the conflict makes major shipping routes risky. That immediately sends oil prices soaring because the supply is suddenly up in the air. As a response, financial markets totally freak out. Investors start dumping what they see as risky assets, like stocks, and bam, trillions in value just get wiped out in a matter of days. And this right here is the absolute key. The markets aren't reacting to what's already happened. They're pricing in the risk of what could happen. That fear of the unknown is powerful enough to trigger this kind of massive, immediate collapse.
But look, this isn't just about big, abstract numbers on a screen. This global shockwave hits all of us in a very direct and very personal way.
And that's exactly it, isn't it? The headlines about global conflict stop being background noise and start becoming a problem for you in your daily life.
Suddenly, the cost to fill up your car is through the roof. Your grocery bill is way higher because it costs more to transport everything. And then, at the exact same time, you look at your retirement savings, your 401k, and you just see it shrinking. It's this painful squeeze from every direction.
And that pressure, it just builds and builds across society. Families really start to feel that strain. Small businesses, which are already running on razor-thin margins, can't keep up. Job security starts to feel a lot more fragile. And that feeling of just being economically secure, it starts to slip away.
So what comes next? This is where the whole situation goes from being a serious problem to a potentially catastrophic one. Why? Because the future is just so uncertain. If the conflict that started all of this keeps getting worse, this financial shock might not just be a temporary dip. It could actually be the thing that tips the entire world into a full-scale global recession. And the consequences of that would be way, way worse than what we've already seen. The most dangerous variable in all of this is unpredictability. A real-world conflict doesn't follow a neat little script. Just one miscalculation, one sudden escalation, and the whole thing could spiral into something much bigger, pulling in other countries and just multiplying the economic damage. And that's really the sobering takeaway here. As shocking as that $7 trillion number is, it might just be the opening act. We're at a point now where every single political and military move has these huge economic consequences for everybody on the planet. And that leaves us with this final, really unsettling question. The chain reaction has already started, so it's not a question of if this will affect us anymore. It's about how deep the damage will be. Have the dominoes already fallen too far to be stopped?